Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So this year there were two sci-fi productions that I was really looking forward to on Netflix. One of which was the whole series Altered Carbon, which I did do a review on. If you wanted to see that, I will leave in the description area below or a card above. And the second one was this movie right here called Mute. And the main reason I wanted to see these two based upon the trailers were because it looked so much like a Blade Runner show. And if you watch Altered Carbon, it definitely is in the whole Blade Runner type world with the whole mystery noir aspect as well. Now this one is very similar in terms of the environment and setup because once again, it does look like a Blade Runner type world, and at the same time it has the whole mystery thriller aspect of it as well. But this movie is different, okay? So it is directed by Duncan Jones, who did the critically acclaimed Moon years back, and he also did Source Code, and then the most recently he did the whole big budget movie Warcraft. Now, the whole premise of this movie is there's this Amish guy right here named Leo, and when he was young, he has an accident which damaged his vocal cords, hence the whole title, Mute. And then later on, as he becomes an adult, he lives in the future Berlin, Germany, and that's where you get this whole futuresque Blade Runner type world. Now, the whole story in here, it's really simple, okay? And at first, when you are watching this, I would say for the first 30 minutes, this movie is 2 hours long. In the first 30 minutes, there is a lot for you to wonder about. You know, there's a lot of mystery surrounding this character, Leo, who is played by Alexander Skarsgard. And so the whole premise is Leo has his girlfriend, Nadira, and he doesn't know much about her background, but they are in love. And then all of a sudden she goes missing. And then that is basically the whole point of this movie, throughout pretty much the whole movie, where Leo is looking for his girlfriend. And while doing that, he meets some really interesting characters. The most interesting is Paul Rudd, or Ant-Man. He's actually in this movie. He plays this kind of crazy guy named Cactus Bill, and there's also a doctor involved and also a little girl as well, and many other characters surrounding, but those are the main characters. Now, the thing with this movie is, even though things seem like it would be a lot deeper, mainly because you don't know much about the characters at the beginning, and then you see this whole really awesome looking Blade Runner type world that Duncan Jones built. After that, there isn't much to it. And I think that is the main problem with Mute, because even though it sets itself up to be something really deep, something really mysterious, in the end it isn't. It's just a guy who's looking for his missing girlfriend, and he runs into a crazy guy and some other crazy characters, and that's it. And I was really surprised by it because in this whole 2 hour runtime, it was really slow. The pacing was really slow, but I kept thinking, okay, maybe the second half or the last half, you're going to get this amazing review of what's going on. You get to understand why the character's here. You understand what his motivation is, who she is, his girlfriend who's missing. You learn more about Cactus Bill, the doctor, and everybody else. But honestly, you don't. You know, there is absolutely no payoff to this movie. And that's kind of like a sad thing because Duncan Jones is definitely a talented director. And whether it's due to the writing or maybe Duncan Jones himself, the movie is just so basic. You know, there was no point to the movie. And the whole world itself, what Duncan Jones built along with all the other designers and the special effects, it is a very beautiful world. It's very similar to Altered Carbon in the sense that the look of it, the environment, it really pulls you in. But the thing that really makes this movie not a great movie is the fact that there's no great story behind it. You don't really care about any of the characters except for one, and it's not the main character. It's Paul Rudd's character, Cactus Bill. He's the best thing out of this whole show. But unfortunately, the story and everything else surrounding it doesn't help support this. You know, it doesn't make it interesting, you know. And as you're watching this, you're like, at certain points, you're just like, man, when is this going to end? Because it seems like every time you're thinking there's going to be something really awesome that's going to happen, you're going to get something really cool, you know, that you discovered, it never ever happens. And then by the time you get to the end of the movie, you know, there is kind of a twist in there, but it didn't really matter, you know, because there wasn't anything that you invested into these characters up to that point. And honestly, you just didn't care. You know, by the end of the movie, you just kind of wanted it to end. And you're just thinking like, why, you know, why did they make that basic story? Why did they set all of this stuff up without having a real purpose to it? And so that is my thoughts on this movie, Mute. I had really high hopes on it, especially since Duncan Jones was involved. The look of this film is amazing. I really enjoyed the music as well. And Paul Rudd being in there, that was definitely a pleasant surprise. But overall, it just did not have the story and the characters to support this amazing world that they built. And so if you had any thoughts on this particular movie, Mute, or if you've seen Altered Carbon, or maybe any other types of this Blade Runner type, mystery, noir type movies, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com. And I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.